I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Tonight's presentation of the Sim Racers Club on the National Racing Network is presented by the Bizzle Barley Hops and Water Society, the Avila Ramen Appreciation Society, the iRacing Forums Potatoes Club of Saskatoon, and viewers like you. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series coming to you from the Nashville Superspeedway, the Real Assist 132 from Nashville. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth as always by Mr. Patrick Byrne, and I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we've got a really, I think, an interesting show here tonight because it sounds like the drivers could try to make this a one-stop race. They're going to have two sets in the box, but Nashville's not an easy place to get around.
No, and Nashville is a concrete racetrack, so this one is really, really abrasive on the tires. Tire wear is definitely going to be a bigger issue tonight than fuel.
Yeah, we heard a lot of that in practice. In fact, some of the Will Worsler Racing guys even trying to put the tires through a pretty hard stint. And it just seemed like it was, I'm going to say it was an interesting session for them as we have Hunter Waters pulling out onto the racetrack. Let's take a look who else we have here that we can get up onto the side-by-side boxes for you. Let's pick up... we have... I want to make sure before I look like an idiot here. All right, there we go. Pull you up the side-by-side. We'll get you the timing and scoring graphics up here as well. Steve Yanish in the show tonight, in addition to brother Jeff, Uncle Jeff, cousin Jeff, son Jeff, daddy Jeff, I don't know. Johnny Avila, we know he could be the daddy here. Quick time, 30.123, 30.12 with a 3 for Johnny Avila on lap number 1. Lee Campbell going to be second quick. Kevin Dick, Jim Thorndike, Andrew Moore Jr., the first 5 cars to come across the timing stripe. Hunter Waters in the Hunter's Fried Pickles, number 7. He comes across the line. Lap number 1 will be 8th quick at a 31.153, but a new quick time. Andrew Moore Jr., Kevin Dick, even faster, 29.725. 29.725 seconds. Andrew Moore going to be a couple of tenths back, just about 2 tenths back, 0.184 as the timing and scoring shows right now. Steve Yenish, lap number 2. Second quick, 29.745. Also on the racetrack will be Justin Rideout in the number 8. His run will come to a conclusion. Let's pick up Johnny Avila. Well, hold on. Let's bring you back to full screen here. It looks like Trading Peaks isn't updating on one of our machines. So we'll get that fired up. Kevin Dick, still quick time. number 2 for Hunter Waters. Again, 12th quick, 30.174, although he's talked in the past about trying to pick himself up some hard charger awards and doing it, well, quite frankly, by qualifying at the back of the field. Following along with the 5 of Roger Rios. Now the graphics are going to start working, so we'll bring up Johnny Avila down here in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Avila, 8th quick, 30.123 seconds. Not a ton of practice for Avila. Let's pick up Richard Fletcher as he's starting to make his way out onto the circuit, along with Roger Rios, currently working lap number 1. Still waiting for Mike Larch and Quentin Clark to get out onto the racetrack. We still have 6 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the qualification session.
Steve Yenish out there in that number 27 car. Going to probably finish higher in this field in 27 than I'll ever put it.
Yes, that is exactly right. Coming up for the road course here in just a couple of weeks. But Braden Carroll goes second quick, 29.743. Lap number 1 for Roger Rios, 30.695. Oh, buddy may have tapped the wall off a 2 or off a 4. I don't think the lap is going to count for Roger Rios. It does not. He will be stuck now 16th quick. As, let's see, we have Richard Fletcher. Let's pick up John Moeller working his qualification lap in the Black Clover, number 83. Fletch, second lap, up to 15th quick, 30.555. Oh, buddy, hold on to it, Johnny Moeller. That car was all over the place. Let's pick up, well, let's see, we were going to say let's pick up A.J. Digby, but he is sitting motionless on pit lane. So instead we'll pick up Mike Larch in the number 2. Fletcher's second lap going to be good enough for 12th quick on the grid. Let's see, let's pick this one up and we'll grab the in-car camera on Mike Larch. He comes down over the start-finish line to complete lap number 1. 30.664, the lap time of record for Mike Larch there on lap number 1. Oh, wow, big slide off in turn number 2. That's not going to be good for the lap time, but I'll tell you what, Bizzle, that shows you a little bit of what these drivers are going to be dealing with, because we were hearing loose off of 2, wrecking loose off of 4, almost like it was kind of snap oversteery. And oh, by the way, timed the shifts perfectly too. Oh man, good second lap for Larch though, 29.923.
Yeah, these guys were experimenting with shifting a little bit, so it could be interesting to see how that plays out, if there's an advantage to it, or if you're just going to burn off those right rear tires.
Well, we'll pick up the 42 of Quentin Clark. His first lap, 30.494 seconds. Lap number 2 for Clark, going to be 4th quick, 29.871. Got to thank everybody that's tuning in here on YouTube and on Facebook tonight. Thank you very much. We appreciate y'all coming to hang out with us here. Hope you enjoy the show. Super chats and stars and all that kind of fun stuff are available. Bizzle hasn't said anything for us to put up the send your hate mail graphic yet, but that's coming, I'm sure. At some point here. Let's.
I've never been to Tootsie's here in Nashville. I've never been to Nashville either.
I was in old Nashville before it really turned into Nash Vegas. I don't know if I want to go back. I like the old Nashville. So we're down to 2.5 minutes left in qualifications. Looks like Kevin Dick will be your pole sitter tonight. 29.725 seconds. But only 18 thousandths back is Braden Carroll. Steve Yenish, third quick. Quentin Clark and Tyler Seville will round out the top 5 here in qualifications. So with the stage breaks coming at lap 30 and lap number 70. And stage 2 will have the caution tonight. I tend to think this is kind of a almost split it in half kind of race. You're only going to have to make one stop is what it sounds like. But you do have to make sure, do you try to make the tires last 70 laps? Or if you get the cautions timed right, could you actually split the race just into 3 segments and try to keep fresh tires on as long as possible?
My initial thought process would definitely be try and make it to lap 70. As long as you stay in the lead lap, you know everyone's coming down pit road lap 70 anyway. See what you could do. See if you can keep that extra set of tires in the back pocket like an ace up your sleeve waiting for the end of the race.
Yeah, it's not the worst thought in the world, that's for sure. Twisted Gaming checking in on YouTube saying it's still old Nashville. No. Come on now. There's the Luke Bryan bar and Miranda Lambert's bar, and Garth Brooks has a bar opening. And these are not bars. These are like 4-story nightclubs on steroids. I remember
Chris,
when you had a karaoke bar on the corner of Lower Broadway.
You also remember when you had to drive an IndyCar in circles and 16-bit graphics using a keyboard.
That's correct. However, the trip to Nashville was significantly more recent than that. Actually, when Nashville flooded back in 2014 maybe? 2010? I guess it was 2010. I'm going back. I'm trying to remember because my kid's birthday. We took off in the start of the flooding rains. So, I mean, it was like we were like some of the last people to get out of Nashville before it absolutely turned into a mess. Down to the final 10 seconds in the qualification session, and we can get you the starting lineups here in just a moment as soon as everything ticks over to the pre-race. And there we go. Qualifications are complete. It is time to go racing here at Nashville Superspeedway. Let's take a look and see. There we go. We'll pick up the grid cameras and show you tonight's starting grid. Well, okay. There we go. Now we can show you starting grid. Let's see. There we go. On the pole will be the Custom Paints and Diecasts number 52 of defending champion Kevin Dick. Zeem Speed Shop also on the side of that Chevrolet Camaro. On the outside of the front row will be the Team ZSS.com number 24 of Layton, Utah's Braden Carroll. Zeem Setup Shop and Money Shift Media on the side of the 24. Row number 2 tonight will have Steve Yedish in the Crooked Can Brewing Company number 27 Ford Mustang. Lining up alongside the Wolfelt, number 42 of Haymarket, Virginia's Quentin Clark. Driving for Riot Motorsports, Wolfelt on Spotify, Mach 5 Design, and Sim Coaches on the side of that Chevrolet Camaro. Row number 3 will have the Summer Chubbies, number 11 of Tyler Seville. The West Virginia native also having Hunter Fried Pickles on the side of the Will Worsler Racing Toyota Camry. Outside of row number 3 will be the 77 of Andrew Moore Jr., the Keystone State native, flying the colors for Weiss Markets on his Ford Mustang, one of the guys out of the Pie-Eyed Racing stable in the 77. Row number 4 will have the Mellow Yellow number 2 of Mike Larch, lining up alongside the number 29 of the Bulldog Roofworks entry of Will Worsler Racing's Will Worsler. Good to see Will back on the grid, picking up some sponsor dollars to get the 29 colors up on that machine here this evening. Row number 5, the number 28 Woodfather Chevrolet of Troy Haight, lining up alongside of the number 59 Sim Coaches Chevrolet of Jim Thornday. Number 63 GM Goodwrench Service Plus Chevrolet of Johnny Avila, alongside the JW Racing number 8 of Justin Rideout. Row number 7 will have Lee Campbell's Mountain Dew Zero Sugar number 4, alongside of Richard Fletcher out of Wilkesboro, North Carolina, for Will Worsler Racing with the United States Air Force on the side of his Mustang. Richard Smith is set with the 823 out of Harmony, Ontario, Canada for Showtime Racing, and way too many sponsors to list. Alongside the 22 of Daniel Pinkston. Row number 9, the number 89, Rayo's Homemade Ford Mustang and Jeff Geddes, alongside Will Worsler Racing, UWU Esports, number 14 of AJ Digby. Field coming off of the final corner. They are getting ready to go racing here. Green flag goes in the air, and we are underway here at Nashville. Braden Carroll gets a nice start. May have been too good of a start. We'll see if a penalty gets issued there, but he easily clears Kevin Dick to turn number 1. For a side-by-side battle, it's going to be Steve Yenish and Quentin Clark. iRacing does control the penalties on the starts here, Bizzle, and quite frankly, that means if they call you out, you got called out. There will not be a white flag there.
No, and iRacing's start system has gotten much, much better over the years. It pretty much knows, hey, you jump the start, you done getting sent to the back, and oh, Will Worsler's getting sent to the back and around and into the inside wall.
Worsler goes around, makes contact with the inside wall. Caution comes out. Lap number 2. And caution is out for the first time here this evening. Let's take a look here and see if we can see what happened to Will Worsler. Oh, he may have gotten from Mike Lard.
It looks like he got loose and just Mike Lards helped finish the job.
Yeah, pretty significant damage there on the front end as well of the 29. See if we can't take a look at that one from an overhead shot. Oh, Worsler got loose off of 2, and Larch just finished him off. Big contact there for Will Worsler. A couple other cars going to be involved in that one as well. Looks like Richard Fletcher is going to be on pit lane. Jim Thorndike also looks like he will possibly be out of this race early. What happened there to Thorndike? Let's see. Take a look again from the overhead. See what happened to Thorndike. Oh, yeah.
Oh, just got loose avoiding it. Pancakes the inside wall. Oh.
Yeah, that is a very big hit for Jim Thorndike. Tough break there early on. Twisted Gaming checking in. Those are not bars. They are horrible. But for the most part, the landscape hasn't changed. No, then maybe we'll have to go back to Nashville. I hear there's an IndyCar race there in a few weeks.
Not at the Speedway anymore, though. They're doing a street circuit.
Yeah, yeah, right downtown over the Korean War Vets Memorial Bridge, which is absolutely spectacular watching the cars go over that one at speed. While we have a moment here, let's run through the championship standings entering tonight's race. Following the race at the Daytona International Speedway, Kevin Dick holding a 33-point lead over Tyler Seville. Johnny Avila, 46 points back. Hunter Waters, 49 back. Quentin Clark, 61 points back in 5th. This really is absolutely feeling like, if you're going to want to claim a Summer Series championship at the halfway point after tonight's race, you're almost going to have to hope Kevin Dick has some problems. And the Will Worsler Racing guys are going to have to start playing nice.
Yeah, they've always had a boys have at it kind of attitude, but they're going to need to pick a driver, and they're going to need to pick one tonight and go, hey, you're going to have to go out there and win all of these things, and we have to beat Kevin Dick as a team. Otherwise, it's Kevin Dick's championship. There's no way around it at this point.
Yeah, they're going to have to push that. I I don't see any way other than putting 3, 4, 5 cars ahead of Kevin Dick in in each individual race. You're going to have to beat him, not by 4 or 5 points a race if you want to catch him. Another thing of note here, 5 races complete this season, 5 different winners. Braden Carroll picking up the win at Darlington, Johnny Avila at North Wilkesboro, Tyler Seville at Charlotte, Kevin Dick at Gateway, and Hunter Waters at the Daytona International Speedway 2 weeks ago. Do we make it 6-4-6 as the field gets the one-to-go signal?
Definitely could be. It could be a night that we see some new faces. Steve Jenisch, all the way up there. Is this his first or second race out there? And he's kind of putting a stomping on the rest of the field so far.
Yeah, Steve Jenisch we saw a couple of seasons ago. Actually, the first time we saw Jeff Jenisch as a fill-in was the first time we saw Steve. At this point, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what those guys are able to do here this evening. Steve currently running in the 3rd position. He will be inside of row number 2. Brady Carroll, Kevin Dick on row 1. Steve Jenisch, Quentin Clark, row 2. Tyler Seville and Drew Moore on row number 3. Row 4 will have Johnny Avila and Hunter Waters. Row 5 looks like AJ Digby and Jeff Jenisch as the field's going to come around and get ready to see the green flag here off of turn number 4. Early cautions will definitely help the drivers who may have been a little iffy on fuel. We'll see how the rest of this shakes out, though. If we can get a handful of laps in as the green flag goes back in the air. Braden Carroll makes a great start. Kevin Dick not going to have to contend with Steve Jenisch, but looks like Jenisch may have to deal with Seville. How about the 42 and Quentin Clark looking high off of 2? Battle for the 3rd position.
Steve Jenisch trying to fight back on the bottom side. He's going to be about even with them as they come across the line.
And we got to bring the side by side up here. We've got a great battle. A little bit deeper in the pack. Mike Larch just behind Daniel Kingston. Richard Smith, John Moeller, Will Worsler, Richard Fletcher all back there. Worsler and Fletcher being scored 1 and 3 laps down respectively. As Quentin Clark going to make the dive outside. Takes a little bit of nose off of the 27. May have been a little bit of a wiggle there for Kevin Dick off of turn 4. Yeah, that was a big
he's
wiggle.
slow down the front stretch. New quick time for Braden Carroll. I almost wonder if Carroll is burning his stuff up a little bit, trying to run away from these guys. And if we get another caution, it's going to be all for nil.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of that thought process going on. If you're going to try to make these tires last 70 laps, you almost have to get single file out and racing the racetrack and not each other early on. I mean, we're only 10 laps into this thing. We've already had 1 caution. It just gets that feeling it's too early to start doing stage 1 points. Everybody single filed out back to 8th place. AJ Digby and Andrew Moore Jr. as Kevin Dick sets a new fastest lap of the race. He's come back down. Quentin Clark. Put Kevin Dick back up in position at number 2. Jeff Jenisch still looking inside, barely clear off the turn number 4. And big run, keeping that momentum up on the high side is the 77 or more. Such an interesting way to watch this race. Watch how the runs develop. You run the inside lane through the corners, you're going to gain a little bit because you're taking the shorter way around. But that's only at the mid-corner point. Mid-corner exit, a lot of times the guy on the high side will just be carrying more momentum. And that will let you make the pass, possibly even a crossover here by Andrew.
Yeah, not only will it help you make the pass coming off the corner, it'll help you run away with the move going down the straightaways.
Richard Fletcher making his way the race leader. Working lap number 13, gotta say a big thank you to all the sponsors of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series, including Real Assist. They are a real estate assistant service, the presenting sponsor of tonight's race here at Nashville. Also, a big thank you to Mint Mortgage, a residential real estate mortgage broker, coming on board as a sponsor this season. They're of the most and products is the sponsor of the state race. Custom paints and die cuts, a seasonal and grand championship prize sponsor, and Sim Speed Shop, the series entitled to sponsor the season champion and safe driver drawing prizes and grand championship prizes for the top two finishers. Thank you all very much for your support of the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series. Things closing in at the front. Bisley, you may have hit the nail right square on the head. Larry McDizzle nailed it. Don't burn up the tires. May have been what Braden Carroll did here, as we are 16 laps in, and Kevin Dick has caught right back up to the back bumper.
Yep.
Big wiggle on corner
Big
exit
wiggle
for Carroll.
Yeah, on a concrete surface like this, it is very easy to overheat those tires, and as soon as you overheat them, it's kind of game over. You're playing catch-up trying to keep those things cool, and they'll never cool back down unless we get a caution.
And even then, you have to worry about the heat cycling as well. That can be a pretty significant issue. Halfway through stage number one, Kevin Dick to the head of the field. No surprise there. Picking up his first lap lead of the race. Take a look and show you those hard charger numbers. Hunter Waters, no surprise, up 13 points after qualifying towards the back of the pack. Jeff Yenish up 9, AJ Digby and Roger Rios up 8 positions apiece here in tonight's 21 car field. Of a second. Carroll actually a tick faster on that last lap, but sitting right there as you see it about 4/10 back. You're going to have to make those moves, well, I'll say judiciously here. We'll pick up Steve Yenish, who runs in the 3rd position. This battle with Quentin Clark right about 1 second back of the race leader. Johnny Avila may have gotten to the bumper of the 42 off of 2.
I was going to say, Johnny Avila not giving them any room at all. Kind of sticking his nose in there going, hey, what are you just going to mess up? But I'm going to drive right on by. Really putting that Intimidator scheme to the test.
Yeah, we'll see what that's, what everything kind of looks like here for Steve Yenish and Quentin Clark and Johnny Avila. A little bit surprised that Avila not making up as much ground maybe as we might have expected here. He is up 6, but you kind of hit the wall too as we're inside of 10 to go here in stage 1. About everybody has single-filed themselves out here. Yenish, Clark, and Avila is the tightest battle towards the front of the field. We'll pull up the side-by-side here. We'll find There we go. We can bring you this one up in the side-by-side box. Jeff Yenish battling with Hunter Waters. That is going to be for position number 7. Yenish having the peak, as does Avila into turn number 3.
Avila almost clears him. I think he is clear coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, that's a great pass because it is so easy. You make that dive and the car just wants to push mid-corner. You burn up a lot of right front, I would tend to think, but Avila's going to try it again into turn 1. He will easily clear Steve Yenish. Quentin Clark tried to make it a blue light special, going 2 for 1, but not quite able to pull that one off. Pick up your race leaders down there in the small box because the gap is closing. It is now down to a 1/10.5. Kevin Dick really high exiting turn number 2 that time. Let's bring this battle for the lead up into the full screen because it is getting close between Braden Carroll and Kevin Dick as we are down to 5 laps to go. Make it 4 this time by in stage 1. Carroll looks like he might be clear. Oh man, Kevin Dick may have scraped the safer barrier exiting turn number 2 that time by.
These two guys, it seems like they do it every week. They just run all the way out to the front, and to me it always seems like they're burning up too much of their stuff, but they've been consistently finishing towards the front, so they must be doing something right, and I might just be America's worst crew chief.
That is correct. Larry MacDizzle up here on the NRN War Wagon down on pit lane. Great battle for the lead. Great battle here as well. Quentin Clark, Steve Yenish battling Hunter Waters, and Tyler Seville going to be right there as well with them. This is going to be 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Down to 2 to go here in stage number 1.
Oh, a little bit of contact between Hunter Waters and Quentin Clark. Waters having the slam on the binders. He's losing so much time now having to step on the brakes down the straightaway.
Oh man, that 27 of Yenish just looks a little bit twitchy in the mid corner. So we are on.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
That's because he's driving my car.
Yes. That's all I'm going to say to that. It's just yes.
Gotta be twitchy. That's how they go fast.
Through turns 3 and 4. No caution this time by for the stage break. Green and white checkered will go in the air, and Braden Carroll picks up the win in Northland Leisure stage number 1.
No caution here for stage number 1. Got to wait till lap 70 to get that stage number 2 caution.
Yeah, if these guys are already a little twitchy now, my goodness. I mean, Roger Rios just about bounced the car off the safer barrier exiting turn number 4 that time. These things are going to be an absolutely wicked handful by the time they get around to the end of this stage. Now, I would guess, though, are we in that window of if you want to make it a 2-stop race, the strategy call is there to be made at this point. If we get a yellow flag, You could come down pit lane, take the full run of fuel, tires, the whole bit, and then hope to get another caution with like about 40 or 50 to go.
I think it's too early for that. If you're going to split this one into thirds, you're probably looking at pitting around lap 43. So between lap 41 and 45, I would say that window would be open if you want to split the race into thirds. But that would also mean that you are not going to pit under that caution flag we're going to get at lap 70.
Correct. You almost have to, if you're going to make that strategy call, you just kind of have to live with it. If you're at the front, you're not going to make that call. But if you're somebody like Andrew Moore, AJ Digby, back from 11th place on back, that could be a decent strategy call because you will have fresher tires, theoretically anyway, hoping to have fresher tires than everybody else. But you got to work it out where you're back. It's almost like it's a very narrow window because if your tires are good, you have to have everybody else's beat jump. But if the caution comes at the right time in the second half of the race, everybody's just going to pit for tires and you're going to be stuck back there a lap down potentially in 11th to 15th, which is where you're running right now.
Yeah, it's just making more and more sense to me to just pit at that stage number 2 caution. It gives you 8 less laps on that set of tires as you are going to put on this set of tires if we don't get another organic caution. And if we do get another organic caution, then you have a fresh set of tires to put on in the box if you want them. So frankly, I don't see a downside to pitting at lap 70. It's too big of a gamble to pit early before then.
Yeah, it just seems this race sort of feels like you have to break it into halves that way. Now, it's 132 laps as well, so if you get to 70, you're going to be good to go the rest of the way on fuel. At that point, it's just do you take tires if we get a late race caution. I would tend to think everybody wants to have a set of fresh sneakers in the box just in case that happens.
Yeah, but now to play devil's advocate here, smoke them if you got them. If you have that extra set of tires in the box when you cross the finish line for the checkered flag, and you cross the line in 5th, 6th position, maybe you could have used those tires and gotten yourself up there towards the front.
Yeah, that's where my thought process is. I don't want to leave a set of unused tires in the box unless there's just no reason to put them on. It's not like we're running, you know, a place like a California or Auto Club or Michigan where you got to go, maybe tire wear is not that huge of a concern. Around this place, especially with the setup, sounds like being a little bit on the tight side. I think you want to take tires at least. If you get the opportunity to take them twice, you need to take them twice.
Yeah, the only reason I would see you don't take tires twice is if you're a guy like Daniel Pinkston, Richard Smith, kind of last car on the lead lap, caution comes out with 10 laps to go going, hey, screw it, I'm not going to pit, I'm going to restart on the top spot, and hell, I might lose 10, but that's still 8 spots up from where I was.
Picking up Steve Yanish and Johnny Avila battling for the 3rd position. Braden Carroll has come around Kevin Dick for the race lead. Let's show you that one here on the Hot Shoe Raceware NRN Instant Replay. Looks like just I'll say a nice clean pass through turn 1. Yeah, that's basically what you see there.
Very respectful, clean racing we're seeing out of these guys, as is usual for the Sim Racers Club.
Yeah, you'll get the oddball race that will be kind of multiple cautions early on. We had one caution here, but we've been green since through the end of stage number 1.
You'd say that. I'm pretty sure I just saw a car stop there on the front stretch grass. Doesn't look like it's going to bring out a caution, though.
May have been John Moeller having an issue. Well, oh, yellow flag is out. Caution is on the speedway, and it looks like it's trouble for A.J. Digby. Caution is out at lap number 43. Oh, man, big hit into the outside wall for Digby. Wow.
Oh, tore the whole nose off. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
And grenaded
The front bumper's
motor.
still on it.
Wow. Let's see.
What happened there to cause that?
I was just going to say, let's go back a little bit in time here and see what happened to A.J. Digby. Oh, you got squirreled up.
Avoiding Moeller.
Avoiding Johnny Moeller.
No, that must have been John Moeller we saw there on the front stretch grass. Maybe he just lost the car and while trying to catch it. Unfortunately, Digby, wrong place at the wrong time.
See if
Johnny
anybody...
Avila faking him out. Clark faking him out. Hunter Waters is going to come down the pit lane, though.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Hunter Waters, Andrew Moore Jr. Not the worst call you could possibly make. Go a little bit off strategy.
Yep. I said lap 43 would be the number, and if you wanted to split it into thirds, this caution couldn't have come out at a better time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You are right on the screws for splitting this race in half, as crew has already completed work on the right-hand side of the Hunter's Fried Pickles number 7. The Newburgh, Indiana native down and away off of pit lane. .6 seconds, the time of the stop for Hunter Waters. Most of the field staying out under this caution flag, though. I think it's an interesting call there by Hunter Waters to come down pit lane that time, because to me, he's not giving up a ton in the way of track position, and he's going to have fresher tires than everybody else will.
Yeah, and he's still right back right around where he was, and he's going to probably truck right through these guys. I was not looking at the number to see how far they'd fallen off, but it definitely looked like these cars were a handful, and they were having to back them way out coming into the corners.
Yeah, let's see if we can't get a quick word in here with Hunter Waters. And Hunter, interesting call to come down pit lane. Looks like you're kind of running the strategy now of run the race kind of in thirds. What are you thinking? What was the thought process there on making the pit stop here?
Just to do something completely different, I guess. I'm not nearly as fast as the guys who are in the top 5, so maybe I can get some stage points here. Honestly, have no clue if I'm going to pit on the stage break on lap 70 where we have the yellow there. We'll see if I save a set of tires or not. For the final stage, we only have 2 in the pit, so I just used up my 1 set. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get some stage points out of it. It's the whole point of doing it.
I say that's an interesting call there. Basically get yourself, use this to your advantage and say, hey, I'm going to burn these up in 25 laps, come hell or high water, and then get yourself back in sync with everybody else.
Yeah, and I mean, depending on what the tire fall off is, I mean, I think this will be kind of a good first representation of it. But if it's something that's extreme, maybe I can try to get up towards the front or in the lead and not overdrive it too much and try to save some tire and then not have to take a set. But I don't know. It's all kind of a crapshoot right now. We'll see.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. Thank you very much for coming to check in with us. We do appreciate that, as the field has gotten the 1-to-go signal. And yeah, that's something I didn't even think about on this one, Bizzle, is the fact that you could actually play this as just use these out almost as like the old disposable cameras. Just use them up. They're a throwaway. And then use that to leapfrog everybody and then put yourself back on sequence.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a strategy call. It's a gamble, of course, but it's like placing all your chips on red or black. Everyone staying out there has got their chips on black, and you've got all yours on red.
J.D. Wardlow checking in. Darn it, I fell asleep and missed the race. I've done that
Well,
before.
you're up in time to come and watch it.
Yeah, I was going to say, enjoy the rest of the show here, brother. Nashville's going to make their way off of turn number 4. They will be in the control of race leader Braden Carroll. In the restart zone, green flag back in the air. We are underway once again here at Nashville. Kevin Dick going to have to contend with Steve Yenish. Now the big question is going to be, in fact, let's spotlight box him here. Let's pick up Hunter Waters and see what he's going to be able to do with those fresh tires, because I think it is like he said, it's going to be a pretty fair representation of what we think we're going to see in terms of short run speed and how drastic is the tire fall off that everybody else has. Waters going big look inside of Jeff Yenish. He slides up the racetrack, may give up a spot to Andrew Moore Jr., and he does. That's going to put Andrew Moore up into position number 7. Johnny Avila having a look inside of Kevin Dick. Nothing there down the front stretch. I'll tell you what, that 77 of Andrew Moore is flying right now. Oh, they're going to go 3 wide down the front stretch. They will. Moore down bottom, Waters up top. Oh, big chop by Waters. Wow, that was a fizzle and a half by Quentin Clark. It'll be 20 to go in stage number 2, this time by the start-finish line. Waters and Moore up to 5th and 6th. We're going to see them start chasing down Johnny Avila and Kevin Dick here very quickly. We'll move the spotlight box down to Tyler Seville, battling with Quentin Clark and Jeff Yenish. That's going to be 8th, 9th, and 10th on the speedway.
We're in lap number 52, and Hunter Waters already up to the 3rd spot, passing Kevin Dick like he's standing still.
Yeah, and Andrew Moore Jr. doing the same thing. I think this was a great strategy call by these guys. Try to pick up a bunch of stage points as we see Mike Larch coming through. Larch also made a pit stop. Those are the only 3 drivers that have advanced after making the stops at lap 42.
I'm going to spin the roulette wheel once again. If I'm Hunter Waters, I'm going to stay out when we hit that lap 70 caution. And it's a huge gamble, but I'm going to bet on there being another caution towards the finish of this race. Try and keep myself around that 10th spot, pit for tires on that last caution, and go out there and run up towards the front once again.
The only
problem with that, I'm just thinking of it now, everyone else is going to have an extra set of tires in the box too.
Correct.
So if that late race cost comes out, this is the losing strategy, because if you do pit on lap 70 with everyone else, get yourself on sequence, you then don't have those extra tires when if we get that next caution.
Oh, Braden Carroll bounces it off the outside safer barrier, exiting turn number 4. Hunter Waters to the race lead. Here comes Andrew Moore Jr. right through. Thank you, sir. May I have another? That's 2 for 1. And Carroll may lose a spot here to Steve Yenish. One of the things that these guys talk about quite frequently is the fact that Tyler Seville is an absolute master at saving tires. We're seeing the results of that play out now with Seville all over the back bumper of teammate Johnny Avila. he may have a little bit more Goodyear rubber underneath of that number 11 machine. That plays into the strategy game as well, because Avila, Seville, Hunter Waters, Jeff Yenish, Steve Yenish for that matter, and Richard Fletcher, AJ Digby, all in the Will Worsler Racing Discord channel in here. They're able to talk and say, what are the tires doing for you? What are they doing for me? Where is everybody at? And they'll be able to get the wear numbers off each other after the pit stops. I don't think we can understate how important that communication is going to be, even to the, and it extends to the Piod guys a little bit too, because Andrew Moore went on that same alternate strategy as Hunter Waters did.
Yeah, and just having that one car stop and going, hey, these were my wear numbers, it can help everyone else on the team going, hey, you know what? I've got a pit here lap 70, and then maybe we can get something going if we short pit, even under green, you know, with 30 laps to go, and go out there and absolutely dominate the rest of this field. It's kind of like sending the rabbit out there to test the waters before you push the program to everyone else. Andrew Moore trying to close the gap on Hunter Waters. He's just about there. Gap down now less than a tenth of a second. Waters goes for the bizzle on the inside. Andrew Moore going to try and fight back on the high side.
I'll tell you what, great battle here at the front between these two, as it'll be 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. Good fight as well between Tyler Seville and Kevin Dick. That's the battle for the 6th position. Also, another really good fight here. That's going to have Johnny Avila, Quentin Clark, Lee Campbell, Jeff Yenish all battling. I mean, this is a whole pile of race cars here. Also, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, a pretty darn good fight as well. That's going to be Braden Carroll, Mike Larch, and Steve Yenish. Interesting that we're not seeing Larch able to make as much roundup here as Hunter Waters and Andrew Moore have been able to. Also, Lee Campbell made the stop at lap number 42. He currently runs in the 9th position. That puts him +4 for the race, but easily your hard charger of the race to this point, Hunter Waters, up 19 from where he qualified. Does just enough in qualifying to not get called out for sandbagging the hard charger award. Larch finally able to clear Carroll and Yenish. Slide back, pick up Johnny Avila and Lee Campbell. They are right behind Kevin Dick. Quentin Clark, Jeff Yenish, Roger Rios, all going to be in that line of 5 or 6 race cars. And that's starting to battle for the final stage points that are on offer here. Quentin Clark currently in 10th. Man, we got battles all over the racetrack right now. Let's pick up this one. 2nd place, 3rd place fight in the big box. Mike Larch and Braden Carroll, Steve Yenish. This is what I love about
Still
watching
side
these.
by side.
I just love watching these SRC races because we get fights and battles throughout the field. And all of it matters. You're running for stage points. You're running for teammates. Even a spot that you get might be able to help a teammate later on in the season in terms of points. Just so many storylines to watch develop.
Yeah, this group of guys, one of the most exciting groups on iRacing to follow. They run this league like it's actually NASCAR, which is freaking awesome. You have the stage points coming into play, you have the championship battles, and they break it up into 3 seasons, so you can go out there for the full year and run for the big championship, or you could drop in, go, hey, I have some extra time this summer, I'll just run these 12 weeks, and you could fight just as hard and still win a championship here with these guys.
Yeah, a lot to play for, and even to your point of running it like it's NASCAR, a well-run week-in and week-out league is how you end up with 20-plus car fields every week. Sam and Jordan doing a great job up in race control, the weekly recaps that go out, the points updates, and all the graphics that Jordan's doing as part of his work with custom paints and diecast. Just so much going on here for these guys that it makes you personally invested in the league that you're driving in. It's not show up on Wednesday night, turn laps for an hour and a half, and then you're done.
Yeah, and it makes it really fun because they let guys like me come in as just road course ringers as well. So if you only want to run a certain number of tracks, you can come on down here, drop in with these guys. You know you're good at the road courses. Go out there, try to kick some ass, and kind of be a Shane Van Gisbergen. That's kind of my goal next week.
Patrick Von Bisselbergen. That might be the name change for next week. Hunter Waters.
Oh, baby.
Hunter Waters led a nice lap 69. We'll see if he can lead lap number 70 here to pick up the stage win here in stage number 2. Green and white checkered flag goes in the air, and Hunter Waters picks up the win in Northland Leisure stage number 2. Caution flag comes out for the conclusion of the stage, and now you get the big question. What do these two at the front choose to do? In fact, these three. We can't exclude Mike Larch from this. He's 8 seconds back of the race leaders, but he did make the pit stop at lap number 42. JD Wardlow making a great point in the comments saying we do practice on Mondays too. We're on a full 2-hour practice session every Monday night.
Those practice sessions are a great place to learn a ton too. I often find myself just hopping into them for a few minutes, even just to catch a snippet of what these guys are thinking, try and pick up on some of their lines, and really just hang out. Every driver in this series just loves to have fun. All of them not only play iRacing together, a lot of them play Rocket League or CSGO or PUBG or some of the other big games out there on the market. Just having a good time. They all enjoy being around each other.
Well, we got our answer. Everybody on the lead lap is on pit lane. All 16 cars in the pits. Hunter Waters will be the first to hit his box. Let's also pick up Andrew Moore Jr. We'll bring him up here in the side-by-side. Show you Tyler Seville and Mike Larch's pit stops as well. Service complete on the 7 of Hunter Waters. He is down and away, heading back out onto the racetrack. 14.7 seconds, the time of the stop for Hunter Waters. Andrew Moore Jr. will be second off of pit lane, followed by Mike Larch, Tyler Seville, Lee Campbell with a nice stop up to the 5th position. 13.9 seconds, the time of the stop for the 4 crew. There you got a quick peek of Richard Fletcher coming around as the lucky dog. He will get his lap back, one of his laps back, putting him 4 behind the race leaders. So we will have one more under caution. Here is now Richard Fletcher will be able to come down and make his pit stop. Next time by, the field should get the 1-to-go signal. Just past the halfway point of this race. Not really surprised in what we've seen thus far, Bizzle. The pit stop strategy call, I think, by Hunter Waters and Andrew Moore Jr. was pretty brilliant. By basically buying themselves 10 or 11 free spots. Everybody else has kind of run this race to chalk. You know, you knew kind of, especially with the stage break happening at stage 2, you're going to try to make this a one-stop race. Everybody's good on fuel to the end. And with the exception of your top 3, just about everybody else has another set of tires available to them in the pit box.
Yeah, you kind of have to hope we're going to go green the whole rest of the way here. And just see if you can hang on. Tyler Seville, if this goes green the entire way, you know he's going to save those tires on that machine. Kevin Dick, Braden Carroll, you know they're going to be fast, but we saw before they burned their rubber right up. So will they truck right on through the field, or will they kind of wait for the finish to come and try and get there on the top spot?
I think that's probably the biggest development thing that we've seen out of Kevin Dick over the last couple of seasons. He would be the guy similar to what we saw out of Braden Carroll. Take off, run up front, and just dominate the early part of a race. And then he would fall back to the mid-pack because he had burnt the tires up. He is so much more patient of a driver now. We saw it last season in him picking up a championship, and it's why he's got a nearly 40-point lead at the halfway point of this season.
Yeah, a ginormous lead like that is impressive. It's almost Verstappen-like to have basically guaranteed the championship unless something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, it's going to take something big because even if you have a 20-car field each week, you're only going to lose. The maximum you can lose in a given week is 20. So it's not like this is a, one catastrophic night for Kevin Dick and the championship is back in play. It's going to require 2 catastrophic nights in the next 6 weeks. That is such a big ask, but we'll see what the restart's going to look like here as the pace car is in. One time here. Y'all at home, go ahead. We'll give you a chance to crank it up. What a save by Lee Campbell off of turn number 2 on the restart lap as Hunter Waters jumps out to the big lead. Oh, hold on to it, Jeff Yedish. He's down on the infield.
Everybody is absolutely wicked loose on these cold tires. Lee Campbell saves it again. Unfortunately, Jeff Yedish, he spun around.
Tyler
I believe
Seville
facing
did
the wrong
it too.
way.
Tyler Seville about lost it off of turn number 4. Oh, there's contact, Quentin Clark. He slides up into the outside wall. Holy cow, there is so much going on here. About the only car in the lead lap you don't see in the frame, you just see him there. Oh, Steve Yedish. Oh, Yedish goes around. Big hit from Tyler Seville. Huge hit for Justin Rideout as well. Caution flag is out. And that was a mess. Let's take a look here and see. Pulling up the NRN instant replay. Started with Steve Yenish going around. There you see him come up. Little bit of contact with Yenish, little bit of contact with Justin Rideout. I'll tell you what, though, that number 11 Chumpy's machine doesn't look too bad at this point.
Hopefully only some body damage on that thing. Hopefully it didn't touch the alignment of that car, because aero, while important here, it's not the end of the world. This is a shorter intermediate track. I believe only 1.33 miles here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah, 1.33 miles, and, well, there's Tyler Seville running by his lonesome. Let's take a look here and see. Yeah, Steve Yenish has to come down pit lane. Jeff Yenish is on pit lane. Richard Fletcher looks like he is still out on the racetrack. Handful of cars now also going to make their way down pit lane, including Lee Campbell. Quentin Clark looks like he is on pit road, as is Daniel Pinkston. So we are down to 9 cars without any significant damage. Fletch going to get another lap back. That will put him to 3 laps behind the race leader. Pinkston is down and away off of pit lane. Man, that really changes the strategy a little bit. Or maybe not the strategy, but the complexion of this race pretty significantly, because we talked about Tyler Seville being great at tire saving. Steve Yenish has been one of the fastest cars this entire race. Both of those may be out of the race. Seville upwards of 43 seconds now on pit lane. Tough break for Tyler Seville, because he basically kind of had nowhere to go.
Yeah, kind of just caught in the crossfire, and been on pit road for quite a while now, so looks like there's going to be some terrible damage to that car.
Yeah, he's over 60 seconds now, 70 seconds stopped in his pit box. And again, we mentioned we are down now to 9 cars, it looks like, that have not been on pit lane this time, and a total of 12 remaining on the lead lap. Pretty significant attrition tonight, which I will say, quite frankly, is surprising for these guys. Even the races that we see some yellows, you still have a lot of cars running at the end. There may not be many cars running at the end of this one.
Well, at least many NASCAR Cup cars. You might end up seeing a couple modifieds out there by the end of tonight.
Yeah, you can say that one again. Wondering how this strategy plays out for Hunter Waters, because one of the things we've seen is the long green flag run after cautions. The longer this green flag run goes, if this next run is a long green flag run to the finish, now all of a sudden this strategy called by Hunter Waters plays absolutely brilliant. However, if we get a caution flag with like 30 laps to go, it could all go up in smoke, because just about everybody else has that extra set of tires.
Yeah, this is going to be one hell of an interesting race as we approach the closing stages of it.
We'll see how this will all shake out here in the very short future. Field is doubled up. Hunter Waters, Mike Larch on row 1. Braden Carroll, Johnny Avila on row 2. Andrew Moore, Kevin Dick, row 3. Row 4 will be Roger Rios and Troy Haight. Row 5, Richard Smith II and Quentin Clark, looks like it will be, as green goes back in the air. Good restart for Hunter Waters. See if Johnny Avila is going to be able to do anything here. He's got Mike Larch just ahead. Avila going to look now inside, up underneath of Braden Carroll in the 24. A little bit of a twitch out of Carroll. Opens the door for Avila down the backstretch. Wow, big bizzle by Carroll entering turn number 3. Carroll inside of Hunter Waters. He's going to grab the race lead off of 4. See if Johnny Avila can come through as well. We saw this last time, though. You got to save the stuff.
Yeah, unless we go completely green and he absolutely runs away from this one. And I think he might have to keep on it. Same thing with Johnny Avila, because Kevin Dick is coming up right behind them.
Yeah, this could almost be, it's not a championship clinching night, but definitely a championship solidifying night for Kevin Dick. If he can run these last 47 laps cleanly, give up 1 point to Johnny Avila, and I think we can go full Rick Allen here and say huge championship implications there, because with Tyler Seville running in the 14th position. Now, this could be his drop week. That is something to keep in mind, as they score 11 of the 12 races. But it was a 33-point lead for Kevin Dick over Tyler Seville. It was 46 points back to Johnny Avila in 3rd. And another twitch out of Carroll off of turn 2. Oh, they made contact. Carroll hard into the wall.
Oh!
How did Kevin
Carroll
Dick not wreck there?
Oh, he wrecked. He just didn't finish the job.
That was incredible. Let's see. Let's show you the Hot Shoe Racewear on board with Kevin Dick. That was ridiculous.
Absolutely wild.
Hands snapping back and forth. Just backed it out of the throttle. We'll keep a hold of it. You wonder if Hunter Waters is kind of in tire save mode here, anticipating a caution, because he's fallen back to the 5th position. May lose 6th to Troy Haight.
Closes the door on Haight. Oh,
Wow.
Big wiggle out of the number 5 and Roger Rios Matias.
That was ridiculous. The saves these guys are making tonight are just incredible.
Makes me kind of want to try this car out in an oval. I have never driven this car in an oval before, and frankly, I think it's something I should try here soon, because this looks like an absolute blast.
Yeah, we may lose the Bizzler to running these things. And quite frankly, that's something that I think the fixed setup nature of the league helps with. It's not who can buy the best set or who can build the best setup. It truly is about managing the car over the long run. And that's the kind of thing you seem to get a lot of enjoyment at. We talked about running Grand Prix Legends and a variety of sims like that where it was all car control. That's what the sim was about.
Oh yeah, and that's the most fun part about it. Like, these cars are so sensitive to the setup changes. Just from driving the default sets on some of the road courses to driving some of our sets by our friends at Team Watson Racing setups, it's a huge difference. It's a difference of 2 to 3 seconds per lap at the Daytona road course. So, really, when you have guys paying for setups like that, it's no longer about the skill. It's about who decided to fork out the money to who's making the best setups.
Yeah, and that's... Team Watson Racing, I will say, does it right, at least in terms of it's about the community as much as it is about getting a set. You buy a set, you get the community that comes with it, I guess. You join the community and they give you a chance to throw them a couple of bucks. A lot of these setup shops are buy our set. Oh, like, by the way, it's not what our guys run every week. That don't matter.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but I was with another setup shop buying their setups when I was running the Silver Crowns, and they felt different than the baseline setups, but I was still getting my ass handed to me by the guys in the baseline setups, and so at that point, what are you paying for? Some of them are definitely better than others when it comes to the setup shops, which is why I tend to prefer the fixed series nowadays. I used to be an open setup guy, but fixed setup racing's where it at. Show me what you can do behind the wheel of a race car. I don't care who you bought your setup from.
Well, we're getting a great show out of the guys here at the front. Johnny Avila, Kevin Dick, Andrew Moore Jr., top 3. Roger Rios starting to close that gap. It was 8 tenths, now working inside of 7 tenths of a second. Back to 4th place, Rios. He's making up some ground. Troy Haight, ever so slightly falling back. Well, I guess maybe just a little bit of difference in how they're driving the corners. But behind Troy Haight, we have this good battle here. Quentin Clark, Cutter Waters, Mike Larch, and Richard Smith. Have that one up in the small box for you while we have the race leaders up on the big screen, as it looks like Justin Rideout making his way back onto pit lane. Little bit of a slide for Kevin Dick at the midpoint of the corner. And I'll tell you what, though, what was a 3-car battle is now very much 5 cars battling for the top spots. And Roger Rios looking inside of Andrew Moore Jr. Just checking the timing and scoring, and he's on the exact same stint length as everybody else is. First car that has made a more recent pit stop, Quentin Clark, he has about 11 laps, fresher tires. Roger Rios would be another first-time winner this season in a league that's gone 5 for 5 with unique race winners. Andrew Moore would join that list, as would Troy Haight. Rios really closing in on Johnny Avila. I guess, do you hit a point if you're in Roger Rios' shoes here where it's almost like I gotta go. I know I'm gonna burn the tires up, but I have to go and see if I can hold on. It's
definitely a thought that's in your head, and it's a hard thought to get rid of. the biggest thing you could do right now is sit there and wait, which is so difficult to do when you feel like you can go out there and pass him. But if you sit there and wait, keep the rubber on the car, and just force him either into making a mistake, thinking you're going to make the move, burning his tires off, you can get by him later, closer to that checkered flag when it matters. But if you lead 10 laps between 30 to go and 20 to go and end up finishing 5th, well, you still finished 5th, man. I'm sorry.
The Aguadilla, Puerto Rico native thought about having the look outside of Johnny Avila down the front stretch. Almost got into the back bumper of the 63 at the midpoint of the corner. Top 4 all nose to tail. Even 5th place Troy Hate's going to be fairly close. Top 2 definitely starting to break away a little bit. And are we seeing the patience of Kevin Dick here starting to play out? Do just enough to stay close, but you don't have to make the move yet. There's still 28 laps left to go.
Yeah, you just have to keep yourself in the fight right now. Don't push the issue any harder than it has to be pushed. Just sit and wait, which is so difficult to do. It's the biggest thing I struggle with when I drive, because if I know I have something faster, I want to go out there and take the lead and run away with it. But you just have to have that patience, sit there, and relax.
Well, Roger Rios leading the hard charger standings at this point now by 4 over Hunter Waters. Johnny Avila up 10, Richard Smith the second up 6, Daniel Pinkston up 5. It's going to make for 4 Will Wursler cars, I think. Daniel Pinkston running as a free agent. So 3 Will Wursler cars in the top 5 of positions gained here this evening. Roger Rios settling in right about a quarter second back of Johnny Avila. We'll slide back and pick up Hunter Waters here. Then a nice battle with Mike Larch, separated by about a car length into 3. Yeah, we haven't talked about a ton this season. Troy Haight, the number 28 Woodfather machine. Very quietly having a nice race tonight. Qualified in the 9th position, up 4 from where he started. Car's been consistently good all night long. Good time to have a good run for Troy Haight, currently sitting 9th in the standings after losing 5 positions last week. This is the nice rebound drive you want to have.
Yeah, and it's nights like this that really make or break a season, where you get that momentum rolling, where you've had a bad early part of the season, you get up there, finish in the top 5. No, it's not winning, but it's going, hey, I'm in the top quarter of this field, and I can go out there next week and try and make it a top 3, or even just, hey, another top 5. Top 5 is nothing to scoff at all.
No, it would be his first top 5 of the season. 4 top 10s, however, for Troy Haight in the 5 completed races this season.
And even a top 10 is, it doesn't seem fantastic when you're looking at a 20-car field. It's still halfway through the grid, and you're not racing in officials in bottom split. This is the Sim Racers Club. These are some of the best guys on the service. Johnny Avila, your leader right now, is in the road to pro, trying to go pro here on iRacing. And to be even racing on the same lap as him, if you're Lee Campbell, after that massive save on the last restart, really, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and Campbell only 5 seconds back of the race leader right now. 2 seconds back of 9th place Richard Smith. Everybody else 3 or more laps down, from 11th place Richard Fletcher all the way back through Jim Thorndike. Daniel Pinkston just making a pit stop. We'll see if Tyler Seville will be able to pass him, but he was still a full lap behind the 22. Looks like Pinkston may be back on pit lane, however. JD Wardlow, that's comment of the night. I feel gooder just to finish the race. That is exactly right. These cars are not easy to drive. Especially
yes,
when
just finishing the race.
And
Is it
especially
achievement?
when you start thinking about how deep into the run these guys are. They're now 41 and change laps on this set of tires. This is when we saw them.
Johnny Vila gets wildly sideways. Roger Rios goes for the lead.
Big moment there for Johnny Avila. He gives up the lead to the 5 of Roger Rios.
You were just talking about how difficult these things are getting the drive, and Johnny Vila goes and proves you're right. These drivers don't do that very often.
I'll tell you what, Quentin Clark and Hunter Waters are starting to make some ground up. We'll bring the side-by-side box back up here because in addition to the great battle for the lead, good fight here as well between Clark, Haight, and Waters. That's going to be 6th, 7th, and 8th. But there you just saw them pop into the screen. They're not that far back of your race leaders.
Yeah, it looks like we've had a breakaway from the top 4, but they are not out of the fight towards the rear just yet, especially if these guys continue racing this hard. We could see a huge fall off out of these top 4 guys, and maybe Quentin Clark, maybe Hunter Waters coming on by and really just running through these guys.
Well, the top 2 have been fighting like cats and dogs. 3rd place Kevin Dick has been very patiently biding his time back there. Dealy, you do. Oh, man, big moment there off of turn 4 for the 52. But you kind of have to be patient, even when you're driving through what amounts to the jet wash coming off of the 2 cars in front of you. That's not a real pleasant place to be if you're if you're Kevin Dick, I should say. Wow, great run off of 4 for Roger Rios. Not quite able to get it done at the start-finish line as we're down to 15 to go. Now, I would think if we were to get a caution flag here, it would be kind of no-brainer. You're only going to be back to 10th if you elect to come down pit lane. Worst case scenario, you're going to be 10th. But that's also the big if of if you have an extra set of tires left in the box as well.
Yeah, with only 10 laps to go, if the caution were to come out, we'd have 10 laps to go on the green. I'm not sure that's enough time, especially if you're sitting there up in the lead right now. That'll probably psych you back to 10th, maybe 8th or 7th, which on the flip side of that, we did see some of the drivers come on through the field on that first round of pit stops way back at lap number 30. But these guys are going to be fighting a lot harder to hold on those positions now, and you're going to have to do a lot more work getting through them.
Yeah, that's where the information sharing from teammates can be huge. But I don't know that it's going to matter here as we'll slide back and pick up Hunter Waters battling with Quentin Clark for the 5th position. And the more laps you tick off, I think the less likely it is that you come down pit lane. With 15 to go, that's one thing. With 10 to go, you're basically looking at like a 7-lap shootout. That's not a whole lot of time. There you see the gaps between everybody on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. So we'll stick with the battle here between Hunter Waters and Quentin Clark. The lead is now 3/4 of a second for Johnny Avila over Roger Rios. Man, that was a big shove up almost into the outside safer barrier by Quentin Clark, exiting turn 4 that time. Couple of outstretched palms at the start-finish line, down to 10 laps to go. Johnny Avila's lead now 1 second over Roger Rios. In fact, up to 1.2. Question now is going to be, can Andrew Moore Jr. get past, as Kevin Dick has fallen about 8/9 of a second back of his teammate. Mike Larch, Quentin Clark now side by side into turn number 1 as Hunter Waters has gotten past. In fact, Waters gaining on Kevin Dick. With only 8 laps to go, though. Not a ton of time for Waters to try and make that move, if he can even get to the bumper of the 52. Man, these cars just look like they want to absolutely snap loose off of turn number 4. Like they're full 4-wheel drifting the car at this point off the corner.
And that 4-wheel drift is such a fantastically weird sensation where you're not only sliding the rear, but you're sliding the front and you're using the throttle to kind of chase the rear, not get the car drifting like we're in Tokyo going up the mountain, but kind of just getting the car to slide on the x-axis kind of towards the wall. It's very, very difficult to put into words, but if you've ever felt it before while driving one of these things, it's one of the best feelings you can have in a race car.
Yeah, that's something it does not compute in my head. In a real car where you can feel it in the seat of your pants, I got it. It's when you're trying to do it in a virtual car that you don't have that seat of the pants feel of like I'm over the edge. It is because it is so easy to get the car to, when you're sliding like that, the front tires grip up into your left-hand turn and just bang, the back end comes around.
Well, Chris, the leaps and bounds made in the last 20 years of hardware are actually very measurable compared to the Driving Force GT you currently have mounted under your desk.
That is correct.
So you can actually regain some of that feeling in the sim world if you go with hardware that was made after the fall of the communist Russia.
That's exactly right. What came first, the fall of the Berlin Wall or my steering wheel off the assembly line? Down to 4 to go. Johnny Avila holding a 2.2 second lead over Roger Rios. Rios doing a nice job of holding off Andrew Moore Jr. Hunter Waters able to get around Kevin Dick. In fact, Mike Larch getting around Kevin Dick here as well. It's a good sign for Johnny Avila in a quest for a championship, but it may not be enough because it's only going to be, as it stands right now, a 5-point gain for Johnny Avila. JD Wardlow, thank you. Yes. I wish we could get that feeling. Yes, that's all I'm going to say to that. Down over the start-finish line, white flag is in the air. 1 to go for Johnny Avila, looking to pick up his second win this season in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Avila looking to pick up his series leading 28th all-time win. Checkered flag is in the air, and Johnny Avila picks up the win at Nashville. A 32% win rate for Johnny Avila, and that number will go up ever so slightly after a fantastic drive here tonight, leading the most laps, 43 in total. He's already starting the party.
Well, he just got back from Tootsie's. I bet you he's going to go right back there after this race is over.
Yes. Johnny Avila picking up the race win tonight. I'm fully anticipating Hunter Waters to come in with just like a flying spear off the top rope. Not a good deal that time for the 7, I guess. Fletch going to come out there and do the burnouts as well. While they throw the party, let's show you tonight's final race results. Johnny Avila by 3.3 seconds over Roger Rios. Andrew Moore rounds out the podium. Hunter Waters and Mike Larch will complete the top 5. 6 through 10, Kevin Dick, Quentin Clark, Troy Haight, Richard Smith II, and Lee Campbell. 11 to 15, Richard Fletcher, Tyler Seville, Justin Rideout, Daniel Pigston, Braden Carroll, as they are grenading motors on the front stretch. Steve Yanish, Jeff Yanish, John Moeller, AJ Digby, and Will Worsler back through the 20th position, and Jim Thorndike finishing this race after only 2 laps completed. All of the motors just absolutely grenading is a thing of beauty. Not entirely sure how they're going to get these cars back to victory lane, but...
Oh, they're going to call a tow truck, of course. It's a shame none of them are
Yes.
sponsored by a towing company.
They probably should be at the rate that they absolutely...
There we go. Hunter Waters giving a shove to Johnny Avila, helping him do his victory lap.
There you go. So they'll... Well, at least he's trying to
Still
get him back.
manages to do donuts without an engine.
I'm trying to remember. Is this one of the tracks like Phoenix that you can iRacing accidentally let you get to victory lane?
I am not sure. I've never won a race at Nashville. The only race I've run here was that dreadful night Jason Owens forgot to turn the lights on.
Yeah, that one was pretty funny. Let's take a look here. Let's see. We're going to have to go back to kind of like the start of the race here to pick up a spot for the replay here. Let's see. Let's do this one. Oh, well, there you go. They tried to get to victory lane. All right, well, we have the instant replay rolling here, so let's get ready to talk to our race winner here. We will kick things off with the victory lane interview with the pilot of the number 63 GM Goodwrench Service Plus Chevrolet Camaro, Johnny Avila. Second win this season, 28th all-time. Congratulations, a fantastic drive. But that did not look easy by any stretch.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough race. I just want to say sorry for the contact I had with Braden there. He was definitely fast all night long, and if I was able to keep it maybe a little bit lower, we could have had a good battle to finish this thing off. But it was a tough race overall. This track is a lot of fun to drive.
It seemed like that contact at times was unavoidable because if you were inside, you were pushing to the outside wall. If you were outside, you were snap over, steer loose. It was that the impression that we saw what you guys were feeling behind the wheel?
Yeah, so especially off of turn 4, if you were too close to the yellow line, the car would just snap on you. So I tried to give a little space to that yellow line to not get too loose. But at the same time, the car would push really bad. So that first run absolutely destroyed my right front. I saw how the tires were wearing. I was able to like regroup and adjust how I was able to drive and just go for it that second part of the race.
That really was the story of the night, was how everybody was able to manage tires. Roger had to give you at least a little bit of a scare late in the race because his car was incredibly quick and made up a lot of ground on you. Like you said, pretty darn speedy.
Yeah, he just zoomed right up onto me. I don't know if he took tires on that last restart or something, but or he just did a great job of saving his tires. Either way, he came up really fast on me. And the only thing I was trying to do was remember how that first run went and save my tires. So even with Kevin Dick, I was kind of looking in my rearview mirror to see where they are and kind of just slow them down on the apex and then drive away from them. Kind of just mirror where they're going so they couldn't really get a run on me, and then check them up and go so I could save my tires.
Well, speaking of Kevin Dick, it looks like it's going to be probably about a 40-point gap between you two after tonight. Can you make up 40 points in the last 6 races of the season?
It's definitely a possibility. Whether or not it happens, well, we'll have to find out. Maybe there'll be some soccer games that he wants to go attend.
I was just about to say, maybe you should buy him some tickets to some soccer games.
Oh, man. But we'll see. He's a great driver, but if I can capitalize on races like tonight and have him struggle, and him struggling is what, 5th, 6th? There's a possibility.
Ish. Need a lot of stage points, that's for sure. But, all right, buddy.
Yeah, I should have done what Hunter did.
You know what? It was an interesting call, that is for sure. But congratulations on the win tonight, brother. Thank you much for coming to hang out with us. And before we let you go, do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, just to shout out everybody that puts this league together. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And, of course, my teammates each week helping me out because I kind of show up to these races last second and have to pick their brains. So I definitely wouldn't be where I am without their help. And last but not least, you guys up in the booth every single week, bringing great broadcasts.
Well, thanks, buddy. We appreciate the kind words from you there. And let's now talk to our runner-up finisher tonight, Mr. Roger Rios. And, man, I'll tell you what, we talked about this with Johnny a little bit. You gave him a scare because that car was an absolute rocket ship tonight in the later stages of this race and ultimately just ran out of time and maybe a little bit out of tire.
Yeah, it was a great race. I guess starting back in the pack after hitting the wall at a 4 in qualifying kind of put me behind. So just running through the race, and then that last restart, I think I started 8th or 7th. Just kind of killed the tires there at the end.
Well, it was a great drive, though, picking up the Hard Charger Award of the night, gaining 17 positions, and just an absolutely fantastic drive. Talk us through the night, though, because working your way through traffic, whether it was through pit strategy or organically on the racetrack, it was really difficult to get around people tonight.
Yeah, the cars seem to get really tight behind anytime you get close to anybody there, so just setting up where you get a better run off the corners was the best thing you could do.
Well, we saw quite a bit of that out of the 5 machine tonight. Congratulations on the podium finish. And before we let you go, do any of the sponsor plugs and thank yous you'd like to get in?
I want to thank Riot, the league owners and everybody for a great race. Thank you as well.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate that. And let's bring up Andrew Moore Jr., our third place finisher here tonight. And you were kind of doing the dutiful teammate thing, it seemed like, for a little bit, making sure that you and Kevin were kind of right in line for a great finish. And ultimately, your car, that 77 Weiss Markets machine, showing a little bit more outright pace late. Congratulations, because the pit strategy call, I think, was brilliant. And you really worked your way up and hard-earned third place finish tonight.
Thanks. I mean, it was super lucky with how the race played out because I didn't have any more tires. If there would have been a caution there at that third stint, it would have been just chilling at the back for the rest of the race. But played out perfectly for me. Yeah, I think Kevin got a little bit of damage from that almost caution, and he just couldn't quite keep the pace up there at the end. I might have wore him out too, trying to push him a little bit. So I don't know what was going on. We'll have to figure that out. But yeah, it was a great race. Good to be back in the podiums. I haven't been here in a while.
Well, it's funny that you say that because you're one of those guys that it seems like we never talk enough about, but you're always there, top fives type thing at the end of a race. And excuse me, for tonight's race, after you made that strategy call, knowing that you had to save that set of tires, did that change the thought process behind the wheel of how you drove those last, 60 laps or so?
Not really, because I knew that if caution came out, I'd be done anyway, so I might as well use them up and just get the most out of them for the end of the race.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Bizzle said it earlier, smoke them if you got them. Well, you did it tonight, brother. Congratulations on the podium. And before we let you go, make sure you get all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of as well.
Yep, iRacing, Kevin Dick, Jordan Berry, Sam, a bunch of good guys in here.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth for a couple of moments as well. And man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we got a show here tonight. That's the easiest way to say it. The Real Assist 132 from Nashville Superspeedway was a pretty darn good race, all things considered. I mean, a little bit of caution. The caution's timed out right, so we got to see some strategy calls. Kind of everything you want to see in a race.
Hell yeah, Nashville always puts on a show, and it's a shame that nobody raced here for, I don't know, what was it, between 2004 and basically 2 years ago? There was nothing here. But it's back, and this track, it rocks. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, absolute blast. I love running an IndyCar around here as well. I like the downtown street circuit, but man alive, this is just a spectacular oval for the IndyCars as well. We've got a whole lot coming up here tomorrow night on the National Racing Network. It will be the U.S. Open Wheel doubleheader coming to you from the Suzuka circuit. Next week, the Silver Crowns kick off the week Monday night at 9:45 p.m. in the East, heading off to the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And on Wednesday, Bizzle will be behind the wheel. Second time this season, the Sim Racers Club at Watkins Glen International, coming up 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Fantastic show as always, from the fine folks here at the Sim Racers Club. We had a blast bringing it to you, and hopefully you enjoyed the show as well. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us here on this Wednesday night. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.